Welcome back to another video. My name is Abby, and today we are talking about why visualization isn't working for you and what you can do instead. If you're new to this channel and you want more videos like this, all you gotta do, hit that subscribe button, click the bell. It'll let you know as soon as new videos come in. And if you want to show your support for this video and this channel, hit that like button. It really helps to spread this information. So back to the video. Why isn't visualization working for you and what you can do instead? I'm going to assume that if you're watching this video right now, there's something in your life that you want to change. There's a place you are and where you want to be, and you're wanting to use the practice of visualization to get you closer there. Maybe you're familiar with Neville Goddard's work and Living in the End, and you're wanting to visualize that in version of you, or potentially you are familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, who I'm a huge fan of both of those people, and you're trying to embody that version of you right now, to be defined by that future. So if you're doing that, you're spending the time, you're having these visualizations, why aren't you seeing changes in your external reality? Why isn't the reflection any different? I know that this can be very, very frustrating, which is why I created this video, to help give you a little bit more understanding about the mechanisms and where you're putting effort in, what's getting caught, what you can do different to get a different result. So for one, we know that visualization works. I know this firsthand as being a former professional athlete, that visualization absolutely works. I'd visualize myself in the ring doing what I wanted to do, and slowly but surely I would have already lived those moments, and so doing it in real life actually was that much more easy because it felt natural and normal. My body had already been there because my mind took it there previous. There's numerous studies about people actually getting more muscular development simply by visualizing. There's one study that people were doing bicep curls. There was one group that actually did curls, one group who mentally visualized doing curls, and one group who did nothing. And there was significant growth in the muscle from people who spent the same amount of time visualizing as those who actually lifted the weights. There's another study where people learn piano. One group actually studied piano for X amount of time throughout the day for X amount of weeks. Another group only mentally rehearsed that, and then the last group did nothing. So there were, when they scanned the brains, obviously the group who did nothing, nothing changed. But the group who actually practiced physically and the group that had only mentally rehearsed, there were significant changes to their brain, meaning that there were new neurological pathways to show physically that there was a new skill developed simply by visualizing. So we have this research, we have this proof that visualization works. So why isn't it working for you? So for one, I love etymology. So the Latin word for visualization, which really it's visual, is visus, meaning the power of sight, things seen, and more importantly, an appearance. So what I like about that is that this new version of you starts to appear, that you're essentially creating this new version of you like a canvas in your mind. Well, what happens though is if you still have the old beliefs that where you're coming from, your current situation right now, which is being reflected what your internal beliefs are. You're trying to create this new picture, but you're continuing the beliefs of your current situation, you won't have a change because that new version of you is going to have a different set of beliefs, a different value system, a different way of being in the world. And the thing that separates you from that right now is simply giving yourself permission, seeing who you are being right now, how you're thinking and how you're feeling. And this is where so many people get lost. They are not conscious. They are not aware of who it is they're being. What are they thinking? What are you thinking the majority amount of the time? What are you feeling the majority amount of the day? Where are you spending your thoughts? Where are you putting your attention? Even if you're not aware of this, this is where your energy is going. In an electromagnetic level, you're sending out the thoughts and you're pulling back that situation through your heart, through your feeling, the big magnet. And you continue to recreate the thing that you don't want to recreate anymore. You might be asking now, well, how do I become aware of something I'm not aware of? Well, you need to start observing what is happening. How are you behaving? If something comes up, somebody lets you down, somebody rejects you, something is disappointing, how do you respond to yourself? Recently I got the question, well, how do you handle it if somebody insults you publicly and they make a big scene of it and you are embarrassed? Well, what I told the person is it's the most important thing is how do you respond to yourself? What do you do in that situation? How do you treat the words that that person said? If you're trying to have more confidence in your life and this person's insulted you in front of everyone, that can be a potentially very humiliating moment, embarrassing. That could bring down your self-esteem. And in another video, I talked about the etymology of the word esteem basically comes from a word meaning to appraise. So what you appraise, what you're giving value, you determine the value of yourself isn't high, so it's going to come down. But what's happened in that moment and what you need to start looking and starting to navigate the world is seeing what you did. You made the value that somebody else gave you more important than your own value. So starting to become aware of little things like that. Okay, you're going out, you have a flat tire. What meaning do you give that? Are you going to say, oh, look, see, I never get what I want. I'm not able to have the things in life. That only happens to other people. I'm not worthy. Only shitty things happen to me. Is that how you move through the world? What story are you creating? What story are you telling yourself? What is your self-concept? As long as you stay there, you're going to visualize outside of you. If you've created this box, you're going to visualize out there, but really you're going to be limited to the confinement of your own limitation, meaning you give yourself this box of who it is, your psycho-cybernetic mechanism, which really is who you think you are. You look through the world through that perceptional filter saying, yep, that's who I am. Not being aware of, okay, well, why did I give myself that value? Why do I think that only bad things happen to me? Why do I look out and value other people's opinion over my own? When did that first start happening? Did something happen when you were younger and somebody made fun of you and then you took that to be the meaning? Did your parents tell you early on that you need to be humble and you need to be selfless, and that if you did something for yourself, that meant you were selfish and bad things would happen to you or you're not a good person? All these little things and ideas and beliefs about who you think you are add up to blocking you and keeping a resistance to the thing that you really want, that you're visualizing. So even though you're spending this time visualizing what you want, creating this picture, there's essentially a giant door. That giant door is your self-concept. Assumptions, as Neville Goddard would say, the law of assumption, what you give permission, consent to be true, to keep you from that visualization, that version of you that lives in that visualization. The only thing keeping you from that right now is the permission that you're not good enough, the permission that you don't deserve it, the permission that you'll be a bad person. What you need to understand is that door deep in your unconscious is what you think you're keeping yourself safe, that there is something in that dream version of you that would make you unsafe. Maybe if you got the thing that you wanted and you had that success and abundance, maybe you feel unconsciously and you fear that you would be rejected, that you would be alienated, that people would see you a certain way and not want to know you, that you would feel alone. Things like that you need to be aware of so that you can reason on that and you can move forward towards the thing that you want to do. A great way to do this, and something I've been recently doing to really help me move past my unconscious fears, is a Deepest Fear Inventory by Carolyn Elliott. I'm going to link that below. You just scroll down a bit and you'll see it very clearly. You basically state out the thing you think you want that lives in your visualizations, and you're going to list out all of your unconscious fears, because there are beliefs and there are things that happen to you in your past that are blocking you from that. So every time you move towards a thing you want, this belief, this old unconscious thing is keeping you from that because it wants you to be safe. Your amygdala in your brain, anytime you go into unfamiliar territory, it basically sends off an alarm bell saying, whoa, we're doing something new. We need to be careful. That new thing is outside of our realm of what we understand, and no. Obviously, we know that it's exciting to go to new places. Yes, there are things that we need to maybe be aware of and familiarize ourselves with, but it doesn't mean that it's scary or bad for us. We can go to a new country or a new state or a new city and explore, and that actually enhances our experience as a human being and brings us more value to the world and the world more valuable to us. So just because it's unfamiliar doesn't mean that it's unsafe. And starting to get into your unconscious beliefs little by little. Some people might say, oh, you don't have to get into all your own wounds. You can move on. And basically you're suppressing those. Carl Jung said that until you make your unconscious conscious, you will be ruled by it, and you will call that fate, and you will be stuck. So those of you who are saying, oh, you don't need to go back and look at your behavior and see why you're doing the things you do, how is that working for you? If that's something you believe, why are you watching this video? And for those of you who are potentially open to the idea that, okay, maybe I'm not aware of how I'm really being, what I really feel, and there's that deep part of me that's trying to keep me safe, and that safety is actually keeping me from the thing I really want. I need to go back, re-reason, rewire it a bit. It's very subtle. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be emotional. It might just be, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that I was afraid of that, deep unconscious, because when I was a little kid, this thing happened. Okay, no big deal. Now I'm aware of that and I get to move on. Because as you bring your light into the parts that are unconscious and you're not aware of, you get to see who you really are being on a more holistic level, what you're sending out and what you're receiving, and your external circumstances will make a lot more sense. The reason why your visualization isn't working is because you have some unconscious blocks and beliefs that are actually keeping you where you think you're safe. And what you can do instead is do the deepest fear inventory, get into that unconscious, meditate. What could be holding you back? Why are you not living that life? Why are you not seeing those external realities change? Because you are a giant mirror, and whatever is happening, if there are no changes, there are no changes happening inside. Have the courage to explore your inner world and find out who you really are. Connect with that and start to see your life unfold into the beautiful reflection that reflects you back to yourself. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit subscribe. If you haven't done so already, like this video, and I'll see you on the next one.